That's right. It is the show, and I'm telling you right now, I got some great people with us right now. I've got Christine Kane and I've got Irene, and the film, honestly, is something that I think a lot of people are going to want to watch. It is something pretty good. Crosses in the Dust. Hello, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks
Hi.
for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Crosses in the Dust. Obviously, a lot of people are getting ready for this year's film festival, La Femme, and I understand you guys are getting ready. It's going to be happening pretty soon. They're doing a hybrid thing. But tell us about the film.
Sure. Irene, you want to go?
Sure. So this is a film. I take students to the border. It's an immersive experiential class that studies the border crisis and the humanitarian crisis that's happening from all perspectives, from the political, the government, riding along with Border Patrol. So specifically, this one is immersive with several different non-government organizations on the ground that are doing work as part of this crisis.
Okay, so important stuff. And I see the poster behind you, Christine.
Mhm.
How'd you guys come together on this?
So, yeah, Dr. Pons and I have been working together on this project for a couple of years. This is just one iteration where we were able to travel to the Sonoran Desert in Arizona and take a look at what's happening on the ground. So we've been doing this in phases, and this was phase 2.
Okay, so obviously a phase is good, but the whole film obviously happening. It's here at the festival. We're getting excited about it. A lot of people, and I know your friends probably excited, but those that haven't seen it, what's the thing that they could probably like say? All right, that made sense.
I think people don't understand from the perspective of being on the ground. They see what they see on television and the media, but when you're actually there, so we're bringing in the humanitarian side to this story and being able to tell people and actually show them from on the ground perspective what's happening. It really elicits a lot of compassion. Everyone who's seen the movie ends up crying and leaving there just with a heart wrenching different perspective of what they thought they were going to see.
Okay, that makes sense. And I obviously when you come away from a film like that, you go, "Wow, I didn't get that. Now I get it." What's the thing that I think they're saying, and they say, "Oh, wow, I need to do something about it," or maybe just I need to get the word out, or hey, let's go watch it together.
Yeah, and that's our hope here is that people are going to see this and ask what they can do to help. So there's several ways you can help. You can go to our website to connect with the NGOs featured in the film. You can also connect with them to volunteer. So what they need is they need, donations, and they need people to do the work on the ground.
All right. Well, I'm glad you said that. Obviously, there's a lot of people going, okay, what do we do? What do we do next? What do we do? And I say, to those watching, what would you say, Irene?
Come see the film. That way you can make a difference. And it doesn't matter whether it's this crisis or any other crisis, have a voice. You're one person, but you can absolutely do something about it, but don't be silent.
Okay, that makes sense. All right. I know we got a lot of things going on, and I understand you guys are doing some pretty good things, but keep it going. Keep it, oh, and what's next for you guys?
So next is the phase that we filmed in Tijuana. And so that is in phases of post-production. But our goal was to examine what the migrant experiences at every point along the U.S.-Mexico border in each state, and we've so far we've done that. We've wrapped on our project there.
Okay, that makes sense. And so Irene, what about you?
Well, I'm taking Christine to Thailand. We leave in June. We're going to be studying human trafficking and law. And it's going to be taking students over there again with the camera crew doing a documentary film on what human trafficking looks like from a legal perspective, but also with migration and detention involved.
Okay, well that makes sense. Now there's a lot of people watching. They want to do a film, right? We talk to a lot of filmmakers, and we say, okay, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? And they go, well, it's difficult. We live in a climate where it's difficult. No one, everybody wants to get paid. Obviously, everybody's on strike. Thank God some are, saying, okay, now we're not. But what do you do when you go, okay, we got to make this film with or without, and we just got to make it. And then when it's ready, everybody will probably be on board. You hope.
Right. I mean, you sometimes you got to just do it. And I always say this is our project is something you would see if you were to make a reality show about, you have like a week to film, you have a very small budget, maybe $3,000 to $6,000, and you know, a tiny film crew, that would be us. We've got, this is just done on the most bare bones budget with very few people, and we still came out with what I think is an amazing film. So you don't wait until the budget is there. Sometimes you got to just go after it.
I like that you said that, and everybody's like, "What kind of like what can I do for less than so much?" Because I think right now people are hurting financially, and they're like, "Where's the money? Where's the investors?" Right? But I say make it, and then have it done. Have people watch it. Have them spread the word. Get on a list, or if there's an email, get on that. Right? I love that you have like a cause. You know, and I think there's a couple films this year that actually have a cause. It's called Do Something About It, but get the word out there. That way you can get like next level. And if you had the budget, what would you do?
Oh, I mean, we would hire, I think, more crew, and probably have more money to budget to actually advertise our film.
Well, see, that makes sense. And Irene?
Yeah, I just want bigger dissemination. I want more people to see it, because when people actually see it, they're like, wow, this is really good. But it's just hard, you know, with everything that's going on in the global climate. And so we just want people to see it. So I would do more marketing, more advocacy, creating nonprofit. Well, we have a nonprofit that we created for the film, but being able to ramp that up and build it so that we could actually help people with the nonprofit, and do more helping filmmakers create these types of films so that they can also make and see their ideas come to life.
Okay, well, I love it. And the La Femme Film Festival is where it's at. You can see it live, Regal Cinema. But if you want to check out the link, we're going to give all the details for that. And thank you so very much. And you know, wish you the best. The trafficking part, be safe there. There are some weird people out there that just want to keep it what it is, you know?
Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. More right after this.
You know, in the beginning, all films were short.
It's not a charity. We're not here to help you. We're not here to help your cause. We're there to make our money make money.
It probably takes a year to 2 years to really start seeing money.
That title of executive producer on a feature is not the same as the title of executive producer on a television show.
Because what you're seeing on television right now is history in terms of where decisions are being made today.
Don't give yourself a bad review before you start.
I'm sorry, I'm super awesome, and this is my pitch.
What are recommendations for packaging?
Getting to the right person at the right time, and you have the right piece of the package that they want to see.
And be able to adjust, because the plan will never execute exactly as you plan it.
If you set aside money for social media, for a publicist, for marketing, things like that, and really, you don't have to sit behind those dollars, and you can have more control of your own release.
You can't go wrong. Like, as for me, I knew that my episode was either going to be awesome or fine. That's the risk you take.
We have with us Leela Dupree. Leela, you got some things going on. I want to say thank you for joining us. Big Sur, I don't know what it is. What's going on? Oh, we're having a hard time hearing you. I do not hear you, Leela. Maybe we can get your audio there, and then we can start over. We're streaming it, but you know, we want it forever. So, Leela, let's get your mic on real quick, and then let's since we're and then let's just restart. Adam, let's do a quick little maybe the I'll do this one, and then when you get your mic on, okay, I'll go to this. And then we'll come back, and then we can edit it later, right, Adam? All right, I know you're good about that. All right, so just get your audio on, Leela. I don't know why it's not working. It could be your headset, or it's not syncing. We've had that happen before, or the battery's off, or it just says, "I don't want you." You know, it's don't worry. We'll just edit it. I don't hear you either, Adam. Do you hear me, right, Leela? Okay. Now, here's what I would do. On the bottom, it says on your mic situation, it should have like a selection. Try that. But if you hear me, the audio should work. But if it doesn't, just switch it to your computer. If your computer has a mic, I would use that.
Okay, is this working?
There you are. There you are.
Aha. Sorry about this. There's a Chrome issue that I've been struggling with. Anyway, I've used my phone. I just figured out how to put my phone in as a mic.
Don't worry, Chrome's all over the place. Okay, so let me go to this, and then we'll bring it right back to you. Okay, let me do it, Adam. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, hold on. Here we go. Okay. That's right. It's Leela Dupree. And Leela, you got something that I know a lot of people are going to want to watch, especially this year. It's called Big Sur. Look, I'm going to let you say it because sometimes I say things and I go, that's not even what it's about. So go ahead and tell me, what's it about? What's Big Sur?
Hi, Aaron. It's great to be here. So yes, Big Sur is a story of a woman named Faye who she and her husband returned to the place that they eloped 40 years before on the eve of their wedding anniversary. And I don't have my poster with me because I'm traveling, but here's my postcard. And and it's over the course of the day, it sort of takes place at the course of an afternoon into the next morning. You kind of come to understand that you think she's preparing for an anniversary party and you kind of realize, oh, something else is going on. So there's a little bit of that sort of mystery that becomes clear over time. And it deals with themes of mental illness. It deals with themes of suicide. It's inspired by my own personal experience when I lost my father to suicide 9 years ago. And it's about, how we process the aftermath, how we move forward after a big trauma like that.
Okay, I'm glad you said that. And sometimes when it's very something very serious, you go, do I put that out there? I literally had because I've been writing a script and my mother said, I have an idea about a script. And then she told me something and I said, I don't think you should put that out there. But sometimes you got to edit things, to make it, what you want it to be. But obviously when you okay, there's a thing about putting information out there and then you make it loosely based on something. Is there something where you go, okay, people sometimes go, I don't get it, or maybe they do, but then they don't join in the end, and then you finally have it done, and then you go, see, we did it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, look, the things that I'm talking about in this film are issues that are still very stigmatized, right? There's a lot of silence around them. There's a lot of secrecy around them because people still feel shame, which is a big part of why I'm making this movie, to reduce stigma, to encourage conversation, to dispel myths, right? All of these things that still exist in the sort of cultural zeitgeist. And I'd say, for me, of course, the main thing about making a movie is to make an emotional connection, right, with your audience. That's the absolute first bar. And then if it can inform and dare I say educate, I mean, it's a strong word, but that's great. That's even better. But the idea is you want to have an emotional connection with the people watching the film because that's how they become involved. That's how they care about the characters, right? And want to know what happens and then potentially understand more about that bigger world. And I also come out of comedy. That's a lot of my background. And so even though it's a pretty serious subject, there's also elements of comedy in it. I think it's really important to engage in hard things with humor because it's a coping mechanism for sure. I think for a lot of comics, that's why they go into the industry. There's these hard things and they find their way through them with humor. And it also is a way to get more people to watch, and to pay attention because there's a point where something just totally depressing the whole way through is not really enjoyable to watch, right? So it's that balance of entertainment and also doing something that feels meaningful around these issues that are important to me.
Yeah, I've seen it. I'll say it this way. My introduction, I think years ago into the independent was they were a little offbeat, a little dealing with serious things, and then you go, okay, and then you don't see anything about it, and then all of a sudden it's nominated. You go, whoa, didn't see that. You know what I mean? So sure. I know that's where everyone's going for, right? And some hit it, and some just almost. But then you go, well, if I had, everybody talks about budget, especially now, because people don't understand. Yeah. I know the big ones, everybody talked about, and now they settled, at least with writers. But right. I always say this, but you don't understand the independent producer. Independent producer does not make that money. And some actors say, why don't you guys just do independent? But they go, we don't, so I don't know. What would be your message to the industry to say, hey, you got to look out for the independent producer who can do it big, but they're doing it, you know, on a budget.
On a smaller scale. Yeah. I mean, look, it's a really interesting question. There's a lot of people who've been in the independent filmmaking business for a long time, longer than I have, who sort of said, look, it's not what it used to be, right? The funds aren't there. The interest isn't there. The way that the system works doesn't support that anymore. I mean, you have to get so creative. I started in theater in New York City. It was like scrappy New York City storefront theater kind of. And so, I mean, you come up with any possible means to get your thing done, right? I mean, I remember one show we found we needed like all these wires and pipes and stuff for a set, and we literally went by a construction site and there was this big trash bag of that stuff, and we just said, can we take this? And we did, you know. So I think for the independent film industry, it's similar. There's so many creative ways now to make money. It's hard. It's always hard. But I also think one of the things that's interesting about trying to finance, right? So this is a short. I'm working on getting the feature made and starting to look into financing on that front. And, you know, it's interesting. They want to know you have an audience, right? An audience is attractive. That's how you can attract investors. It doesn't just happen that there's like a fairy investor who comes in and just gives you the money. I mean, very rarely. And so it's like, we always joke as an actor, I started as an actor, you know, that, you know, no one will hire you until someone else wants to hire you. It's like no one wants to date you until someone else wants to date you.
Right.
And so I think it's similar with that. It's like an investor wants to know the train's moving. You know, they want to know that the train's left the station and whether or not they're on board, the thing's happening. And I think that's a really big part of it, is just really like committing to the forward momentum. Sometimes even when you don't exactly you know, it's like, what is it making a movie is like building the plane while you're flying it, or building the track while the train's already going. I mean, it's really sort of like that. So sometimes you have to kind of just white knuckle it. But I think there's a lot of market for things that are not these big budget tentpoles, and the numbers have shown this, right? The numbers have shown female-led films make a lot of money. They've shown that diverse-led films make a lot of money. And I think a lot of it too is having to remind those gatekeepers in positions of power that it's not just feel good stuff, which is really great and important, but it actually is good business. It's good business to support these stories.
It is. And I say keep it going, because right now we're going to have such like, I literally on the show that I have a host, his name is Jesse, and he goes, it is so dry out there. I've seen everything at least more than once. And I go, yeah, that's why you should join us at La Femme, right? Because we have a lot of stuff that are new. You haven't even seen it, and you're going to want to see it, right?
Right. And there's such interesting stories. Like, we've been doing the festival circuit. We just started. We were just at Catalina, and you know, in the block that we had, there's so many amazing stories, like beautiful stories that are about really important, interesting things that are also entertaining with great actors. You know, there's such a like wealth of creativity, and filmmakers like hustling to make these things, which, as you know, to make anything, to make it come out, to make it good, it's like a miracle, right? All these things have to come together. And so it's really inspiring going to these festivals, and just to see like, oh, other people are doing it, and also to see what other people, you know, what comes out of their minds onto the screen, and things that you wouldn't have thought of, or things that you think, oh, I'm so glad someone wrote this story and made this story. It's so, yeah, it's really fun, as you say, to go and see all these movies and live in all these different worlds that are not like the big Marvel films, which are great and have a place. You know, it's not to say that they don't, but there's room for so much more, and there's so many different people who want to consume all this content, and now it can get to so many people, right, with all these streaming platforms, that I think it behooves the bigger industry to have a lot more variety that touches on a lot more people's experiences.
Yeah, I had a conversation with someone because, again, I'm writing it, and the person said, have you ever noticed that some movies get made when the person's either old or dead?
Yeah.
And I go, yeah, because they're desperate. No, I'm just kidding. But don't get old and dead, okay? Don't get that, because there's always a library that they could put it in, right? There's something about that, and I know La Femme wants to do something with that. I say do it because filmmakers want it. So keep it going, keep it doing, and just keep working at it. All right. But I'm so glad you got added to the list. I know it's a really big one. Again, Big Circle, check it out, and get your tickets right now. You can watch from anywhere. You don't have to be in the area, although it's pretty cool to be at Regal Cinema, you know?
It's a great venue. It's really fun. We were there early this summer for LA Shorts, and it's a beautiful cinema. It's like huge screen, great sound. Like it's the best place to screen.
And it's playing right next to all of the Marvel films and
that's right.
Disney films. So it's right there. I mean,
right.
seriously, go watch
You can
both.
do a double header. Yeah, exactly.
Why not? Yeah, exactly. All right. Thank you very much, Leah. We'll see you.
Thanks so much, Aaron.
Thanks for making it great. Thank you. We'll be right back with more right after this. We're here with Shelly Mitchell. Shelly, I'm so glad you're with us. And I understand you got something I want to talk about, but I understand, again, you're in the industry. What do you say about everything? Because I know it's kind of going in that way because, some people are still on strike and some people are waiting to be, and I get it. People want to get paid, but I don't think people understand. Producers that are like doing it like you guys don't really get paid until it gets made, right?
Well, I'm not a producer. I'm not on the money side. I'm a very idealistic person. And I've been around, as you can see from my beautiful hair, that the imbalance in respect and finances going to life-changing stories like the ones that are told if independent film have always been imbalanced. Like we used to have off Broadway, and we still have off Broadway, and that's a place where stories like Rent or stories like A Chorus Line, those are gritty stories, really true, literal stories from the very people in the first production, and then they got big. So this imbalance is the world we live in, and I have never written anything for a TV or a movie before. And so that's kind of why I wrote something at my age for the first time, is because the oppression of what is so out in the open now, that's what I think. It's so, with these strikes and what the producers are saying, and they're not even hiding their disdain for the creative side. They're not even hiding it.
Well,
anyway.
And it's respect, right? It's respect. I think that's what people want at the end of the day. They want respect. They don't want it taken from them. They don't want it stolen. I've seen some projects stolen or rewritten. I've seen that. No one's talking about that. I go, hello.
Yeah.
But that's when usually people say, I sue, and they hate the word, but the smart ones make a lot of money when they go, didn't I present that to you? And didn't you just, do something with the names and a little different, but that's still right there, the essence of it. Then you go, well, there's a lot of copies of that. That's called AI. So you go, okay, what's it going to do? And I go, you know what? Do it in another country. Why not?
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing that we have that AI doesn't have, and many people on the financial side don't have, is introspection. We are sluts for introspection. We writing stuff are introspecting, on steroids, and we write stuff, and then we have to collaborate with people who kind of admire how introspective we are and the fruits of that, and they find it hard. It's hard on their feelings to be as introspective as we writers and creators are. So there's a mix, there's an exchange going on, but right now, this outright contempt and disdain for the different kind of personalities that come with people who are on the creative side. I'm kind of glad they're exposed. They're out in the open. A lot of creative people now know what the hell they're dealing with, instead of it being all polite, nicey, anyway.
People are very frontal, I say, but I say when they have the money, you go, yeah, all right, I get it. So it's not like anybody's going to turn away the job. They just go, I can't believe that guy's that way. But I don't know. I think we'll see a change. But let's talk about Ambrosia, right? It's something that is actually based on a true story. New York City, 1975. What happened?
What happened? I had the good fortune to be studying with a world famous acting teacher. Most people know Lee Strasberg, And through that acting class, I met a Oscar-winning actress named Ellen Burstyn, and she began mentoring me and talking to me about all kinds of metaphysical and Sufi and spiritual things. And she introduced me to a cult, the work of Gurdjieff, if you've ever heard of Gurdjieff. And I got into a cult, and I was in it for about 15 years. And the cult leader was a character, and the cult still exists. It was The Vow. My daughter called me when The Vow came out. She said, "Mom, something that's the closest thing I've ever seen to the experience in your group is a TV documentary." So that's the tone of it. But in Ambrosia, I go. The pilot covers a very gritty but bohemian young New York actress getting a nod from people, like I said. And at the time I was also modeling for Salvador Dali, and so that's the pilot, is showing how a kind of exuberant person got into this cult. And as I was, do you want to hear all this? Is this?
Well, here's the thing,
Yeah.
and I do, but I want to see it. I'm not gonna lie. No one ever admits I was in a cult, just so you know. And did they call it a cult at the time, or do you figure out later? And do you say, "Thank you for getting me out of that, because now I know the story. It was all true"?
Well, first, mine is just a pilot for TV, so it's not a film anyone can see yet. But the reason the rocket's on me now is because so many people are in cults. They're in 2-person cults and 3-person cults. And at the end of 2021 on Spotify, there was a podcast that was called, I think it was Reflections, or I forget the name of it, but it was number one up there with Joe Rogan. And Oprah said it was the most important podcast of 2021. And it was this young podcaster who did a 6-part expose on the group I was in. And I was listening to the voices of people who were part of my onboarding as old people. And that is when I wrote Ambrosia. I was like shaking when I heard this podcast. And the fact that Oprah validated it like that, I thought, because when you're in a cult like that, you think, I've made such a bad judgment of error in my judgment. Who the hell wants to hear what I have to say? So it's taken me this long, to tell you the truth, to really begin to feel like I see real purpose in it, because all these other cult stories are coming out, and I'm seeing, and I coach people. I'm a performance coach, so I see, like, I do not want to be one of those culty acting teachers or performance coaches.
I have so many questions. I have so many people that I know they're going to see is going to say, "Can I just write it for you, please?" Because sometimes, like, there's a perspective you go, "Dude,
send them over. I need help."
yeah, because it's like, whoa, at least you admitted it. Because there's so many people. You're right. They're stuck in it, and I don't think they actually think, "Oh, I'm in it and I should get out of it," until they're shown, "Do you see that guy? He's really about something else." And that's usually something that you go, "Wait a minute." And they go, like, there's a lot of, but they never say they're a cult. They just say, "Oh, we don't like to be," I just think there's some writers going, "Dude, I could do the story," because you're right there, like, and I have questions. I do, like, I want to be the first in line. But anyway, look, I'm glad you have this. I know it's a TV pilot. I think it could be maybe a film. Obviously, you could tie it into a couple others, and I guarantee some people are like, "No, we're going to squash it," but it's already out there. So you say, "Look, I was one of them," okay? Because people have questions about, and I'm not saying it's like that bad, but Manson, like, if you could interview the ladies and they actually wrote their perspective at the time and then the perspective now, you'd be like, "Wow, you're rehabilitated, yay!" Or you're not. I don't know what gets you there. What was the moment you said, "Oh, this is a good idea"? And how many years were you, like, in it?
Well, this is kind of the mother lode here, and we're getting into metaphysics. But a lot of young people today, a lot of people know about the law of attraction. They know that magical things can happen because you're focused on something. Well, in the 1970s, that was still true, and we didn't know about the law of attraction. But this group did, and this belief did demonstrate to us that when we focused on something, stuff would line up behind it. And what they were telling us to focus on was their benefit and that we would be happier once they got what they want. So it was a perfect loop of manipulating us to use our own powers of the law of attraction for their benefit. But nobody knew the law of attraction back then. So there was magic happening. There was magic
Like,
happening.
yeah, how can I prove it to you? How would you know? And you're right. Some people take advantage of that. I guarantee it's a
Totally.
Marvel film. It's a Marvel film where they go, you have the power. Just, hey, I need some of that, you know? So good job, Shelley. I know we're out of time. Great job on what you're doing. I can't wait to see. I know it's like, you know, a pilot. It's a script. It's already written. But I think if there's any other writers that see this, you know, say, Shelley, you know, maybe we could go something else and then do a co something. You know what I mean? And
Call
then you'll be
me.
good. Yeah, see,
Call
Shelley's
me.
open. Shelley's open. So let's
I
do that.
totally want. I need collaborators.
All right. That's a great story. Seriously. I guarantee there's a story there. All right, Shelley. Thank you very much for spending time with us. And we'll see you around the corner. Thank you, Shelley.
Bye-bye.
Bye. We'll be back with more. We have with us today, Linda. Linda, you got something going on. I'm so glad. I mean, you got things, and I'll say this, you know, at the festival this year, we got a lot of different variety here. And tell me, your film, obviously, Willow's, I'm sorry, I have it wrong. Yeah, I have it right. Willow's Tale.
Yes.
It's an animation film. Talk about it.
Yes, hi, Aaron. Thank you for having me. Yeah, Willow's Tale is a short animation film which is inspired by a book series, a children's picture book series that I wrote and created, and it's based on my real life little black cat. And she has those big eyes, and anyway, she inspired me to write the books at first, and her character is very cartoonish in the books. So I always had this feeling that I wanted to make a cartoon about her. And so what I did, I was on the lookout to see if I could find any production company that I could collaborate with. And I hadn't produced any cartoons before. So I reached out to a good producer friend of mine who's in animation. Her name is Marlene Sharp, and she would have been here today, but she was a little under the weather, and she says hi. So basically, she got me in contact with a production company in Torrance that trains. That they have a 3-year program to train autistic animators or adults who are on the autism spectrum. They have a 3-year program, and after that they graduate, and then they work for the production company called Brainstorm Productions. And I presented them my book, Willow's Tale. If I can plug it here, one of the books is here.
Please do. It's so cute. That
So
cat I've seen, but I think someone stole it from you. But that cat is so cute. So is that Willow, or does he know Willow?
This is Willow. Is that what you were asking? Yeah, Willow.
Yeah.
It's a little girl. It's a little girl. She's actually a rescue cat. We found her in Hollywood. But basically, so I presented the book to Brainstorm Productions, and they loved it, and they saw it was a good fit for them and for me as well. And we collaborated. It was about a year ago, and I had 2 cartoons made. One where she goes around the world, and one where she goes up in space. And it's basically a very there's no audio, there is sound effects, but she doesn't have a voice. So it's very based on the kind of a Tom and Jerry, the old, where it's more action. and she goes up into space. She has this wild imagination. She can battle, asteroids up in space. She can fly around the world as a super cat. She's Wonder Cat. And all that in her little mind while she lives at home, but she travels in her mind, and she conquers, and she always solves a major problem that is about to, either the sun is missing or so Brainstorm Productions, I wrote the scripts, and they created this amazing animation that is doing really well in festivals. We were at the LA Shorts International Film Festival, where we screened as well. So there seems to be a lot of liking to Willow's Tale, her little crazy mind. And the great thing is, Willow is all about little black cats, and they have a bad reputation. A lot of times they're only seen as Halloween cats, and I wanted to show, especially children, that black cats are more than a prop. They are like, so we can get them more adopted and more likable, and they have a stigma. And just like Brainstorm Productions is also, they are trying to also change the narrative that artistic animators are, the work that they produce is on par, if not, it's really up there. So we both are fighting stigma, and we collaborated in this wonderful Willow's Tale animation short that is now doing very well. And I'm so proud to be part of the La Femme Film International Film Festival, and it's a big honor. So that's how we got in.
Well, I'm glad, and I'm not gonna lie. I love the little cat. He's so cute, and I want the little cat to go somewhere in space and say, "Aha, there are Martians," or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, good job, Linda. Great job. I see the drawing behind you. It looks like you're not new to animation. I will say this: there's a lot of people out there, and I love that you mentioned. I know Marlene. Marlene's really a good connector when it comes to getting things out there. She likes a lot of our posts, and especially animation stuff. But I will say this, there needs to be, I remember the 80s, and I want to bring back the 80s. There used to be a thing where kids would come home, they used to watch, it was usually Disney, I get that. But, there was some other stuff that you're like, oh, like Transformers got big. They were not Disney. I mean, now they are probably, but Universal, I think. But if we could make this into I don't know, and there are places that are anime. And I think it would be that. But can you release it somewhere so we can see it right away?
Where we can see I'm sorry, you're saying where we can see Willow's Tale right away? Is that? Yeah. I mean, I have it up on my website. We have YouTube. Her links. I called her links, but she is a little famous cat. So I have the YouTube. The animations are up there on my website. Can I plug it?
Yeah, please do. We're all about that. Trust me.
It's willowstale.com. So it's Willow's Tale, WILLOWSTALE.com, and there you will also find the YouTube, so you can watch. They're about 2 minutes each. And at the festival, we've combined them into one short. It's runs for less than 5 minutes. And if you love them, please leave me a comment. And if you don't, that's okay too. You might be a dog person.
Who would love anything other than a cat that goes into space? I mean, seriously.
I know, and she looks so cute in her little
haters. Haters.
I know. A dog person might do that.
Even dog lovers love cats, especially that cat is so cute. Can you bring the little book up again? That way we can see it. Because I tell people, get your story out, get it made.
There she is.
Yeah, there it is. And even if it's a little, right? It could be like on Amazon. It could be on other, you could get it. Yeah. But I love it because people go, well, I don't know what to do next. And I say, it's simple. Just have it made. Animation style with something, because there's so many tools now, and I love that you said the Brainstorm, and Marlene, she could do it, but go next level with it, have it as a trailer for something, and then say, can you make it bigger? And then there you go, and then you got stories for days. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know, and I'm hoping I'd like to continue making more cartoons of her, And also, I love to do a longer 7-minute segment if I can do that. So I want to grow her adventures. And right now I'm working on book number 3.
Good job.
And what I'm doing with the books is I have Los Angeles as a backdrop. So the second book was, you see the observatory, the Sunset Boulevard. I'm from Europe, if you can hear it. So I love Los Angeles. And so there's a lot of the landmarks that I try to incorporate, because I think children and their parents should see how beautiful it's a beautiful city we live in. So that's her backdrop.
Well, I love it, and I love that I think she needs to save people, and she needs to go something with maybe not DC, maybe Marvel, and she needs to save like an alien something. I don't know. You know that cat that they have eat everything in Marvel? It could be like a cousin of that one, and then boom, you know what I mean? You never know.
But the funny thing is, in one of her cartoons, she does go. There's an asteroid that's about to hit Earth, and she goes and she just takes off, and she has her superpowers. So she's Wonder Cat. She is. I just wanted to let you know she's actually.
I appreciate that. There's a lot of asteroids in our space. NASA's checking a couple actually, so they might need your cat's knowledge or something.
She is available. I mean, her schedule is filling up, I must say.
I can see that. Our schedule's filling up. Okay, we got Samia next here on the show.
Right.
We'll be back with more right after this. Thank you, Linda.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye-bye.
In the beginning, all films were short.
It's not a charity. We're not here to help you. We're not here to help your cause. We're there to make our money make money.
It probably takes a year to 2 years to really start seeing money.
That title of executive producer on a feature is not the same as the title of executive producer on a television show.
Don't give yourself a bad review before you start.
I'm sorry, I'm super awesome, and this is my pitch.
We have with us Samia. Samia, you got something there. I guarantee it's something I have no idea about. It's called Personal Jesus, but it's got something there that I'm not going to say I'm not a fan. I'm a fan, but I don't think it's related to the Jesus I was thinking. So what's it about?
If you're familiar with the band Depeche Mode from back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's actually that very same Personal Jesus. The music video is actually it was for a song that was a tribute to that particular song by this doom pop outfit known as Psalm, good friends of mine. And yeah, they asked me to do a music video for it. So we came up with this concept together, and that's what we're, sharing at La Femme.
Okay, now, and I know there's a lot of Christians going to Depeche Mode is not, and I go, well, there is a story there. You just don't understand the story, And if you listen to the lyrics, it actually makes sense. Now, can you give a little something to the people? That way they say, you know what, I want to buy a ticket. I want to see this because I love Depeche Mode.
Yeah, I think the most interesting thing about what we developed was, Mike Rapashnievis, who is one of the guitarists for the band and a good friend of mine, we were developing the concept together, and in doing some research, he found that the label for Depeche Mode, actually upon their release, they went around and they recorded a voicemail and left flyers everywhere, all over different cities, with a phone number on it that said your own personal Jesus, so people could phone in and actually hear the song as a voicemail. So our concept for the video was heavily based in that, where I actually crowdsourced confessions from people and incorporated them throughout these series of portraits to kind of go along with these lyrics, that have to do with vulnerability and truth and all of those gorgeous things.
Yeah, and I love it because, and there's a lot of things, I keep telling people this, I go, there's a lot of discoveries happening right now with archaeology, and they're discovering things about the time of and they keep saying it 2,000 years ago, but it's really the time of what they say, oh, it happened. And people don't understand, Depeche Mode is about, faith, Jesus, and what are the other lyrics? I know it goes some way, right? Faith, Jesus, and I forget. I always want to do, it's a karaoke song. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny that you mentioned that because yeah, well, the EP itself is called Faith. It's streaming on Spotify if anyone wants to check it out. And it features four different songs or four different tributes, all by Depeche Mode. And you know, it's funny that you say that they have to do with Jesus and um, faith and like themes of those lines, especially because I think a lot with Depeche Mode is it's like metaphorical.
It
As-
is.
yeah, and so it's interesting because they've like I think a lot of their themes are there's a lot of double entendres in there.
Yes.
Because actually, like my favorite song by Depeche Mode is this song called "Blasphemous Rumors" that talks about how God has a sick sense of humor. So yeah, I don't know. That's the beauty of artists, though. You know, you never like it's more about how people are receiving and internalizing that information and what we offer people.
Well,
You know.
and so, look, I remember as a kid, okay, I was a teenager, and there was a woman I really liked. I had a crush on her, and she goes, "You got to listen to this," and she put it on. You know, that's when we had the telephone, right? I don't know if you're old enough, but we had a telephone, right? And you know, she was like, "What do you think these lyrics are?" And I could barely hear. She goes, "What do you think that means?" And I go, "I got no clue." Now I have an opinion, but everybody has an opinion on Depeche Mode.
Oh,
But
yeah.
if you ask them, I think even they get a little like, "What? Why did we write that?" But then you go, wait a minute. They were about Jesus. They were just about, he's not the way you think he is. God is not the way you think he is. And then there's a little like confusion, but there isn't confusion if you just say, dude, you got time. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah, no, totally. It's yeah, I mean, like in all of those interpretations, like I mean, I worked with like this project was really special because it was a project that I basically did like aside from co-creating the concept with Mike, I basically did this entire thing by myself. I shot it, I directed it, I cast it. I was moonlighting like half of the portraits in Los Angeles after like a 7-hour workday. And it was very just like run and gun, very community based. Had a lot of help from some really incredible artists. And I think the most beautiful part about it was collaborating with everybody and having all of these different takes on the song and takes on their relationship to the lyrics, which is also what I think made the portraits so powerful.
Yeah, and if you look at them, they came around the same time that you two came out, right? And I love you two, my God. Also very, you know, and they're very believers, right? I'll just put it there. They may change a little of what they believe. They may say, you know what, I don't think he's all, you know, and in essence, it's like, don't be an extreme person. At the end of the day, Jesus died. You know what I mean? So it's like no one saved him. Right? No one saved him. You know, they hurt him, right? So you go, what happened there? Here he was to help everyone, but you know, but I think music in a way is good. I think it's interesting that you picked Depeche Mode because they are about that, and in a way they're not, but they're like, don't be so judgmental, man. You know what I mean?
I mean, well, first of all, I actually didn't choose the song. The song was chosen by the band, and the band asked me to put something together for it. But also, I mean, you know, it's like it's interesting that you keep bringing the point back to Jesus because, I mean, Jesus is such an incredible historical figure. He's relevant in every Abrahamic faith, and it's interesting that you said he died because he was killed for everything that he represents, which is often what's under fire currently. With you know, because I think about who Jesus would be today. You know, if we really want to talk about like Jesus and what he represents, and I think Jesus would be at these protests for Black Lives Matter. I think Jesus would be just you know feeding the poor and all of these things that are done in the name of Jesus. I don't know, kind of controversial.
Well,
So,
I think here's the controversy. You want it? People are not ready for this, but I'm going to put this out there. You should do a film on the people that would have put Jesus to death because they're still alive. I guarantee it's a mentality. You can show somebody like something that really works, right? Like music, perfect example. You could show them that it works, and then there's that person that says, "No, I'm going to squash it," and they squash it multiple ways. They say, "Oh, well, you're about that." They say, "Oh, that's demon," and you go, "Dude, you're demon." You know that's what Jesus was about, but no one wants to understand that. Then there's a whole like, there's so many things to talk about. I could go on. I think I need to have you on the show Hollywood Live today. We'll have you on personally, and we'll do like a good 30-minute. We'll talk about your film. We'll talk about the relation because there are so many faiths that I think don't understand. They all add up if you understand And I think music does that. I think, and I'm glad you were selected for this because I think you have a perspective that others do not. And you go, wait a minute, because there's a lot of other and people don't understand this, but I say it's a good conversation. I've had this conversation with a few people, and they say, wait a minute, it's all related somehow. I go, yeah, it is related. And some of the history that you think is there is not there. For example, he was a Jewish man, but the time is in the, I think 4,000 something calendar. How did we get BC? And I go, maybe somebody put it there. So anyway, that's the story. I'm going to stick to it. Samia, before we let you go, what else do you want to say?
Oh, I mean, just come check out the music video on La Femme. There's also an article that's floating around online since around May this year. It premiered in Post-Punk in May of 2023. So if you guys want to check out the article and hear, read more about how it came to be and check out the piece, it is floating around online. Otherwise, definitely come through to the festival and check it out.
Yeah, come through Regal LA Live, and you can check it out anywhere. So you cannot have that excuse. I'm not in LA. I'm so sorry. Send them the link. It's on Eventive. We'll post it so you guys can go ahead and click, get your ticket, go check it out. How long is it, by the way, Samia?
3 minutes and 40 seconds.
Okay, it's a short, but seriously, it makes sense. I guarantee that there's a story here. All right, Samia, thank you very much for spending time with us, and we'll see you around the corner. Thank you.
Bye.
We have with us Elaine. Elaine, you got something going on right there, and it is something that I think a lot of people need to check out. It's Madam Wow. Okay, why Madam Wow? What does that mean?
Well, it rhymes with Madam Mao, and there is kind of an wars in and strife in East and Southeast Asia, distant background, and also a little bit of the communist revolutionary spirit in it, but it's just really a joke play on the rhyme with Madam Mao.
Got
it. There's no Chairman Mao though, or Wow at all in this screenplay.
People will go, yeah, wow. Here's the thing, Elaine. Obviously, I know you understand. There are things that people. They get and they don't get. I'll give you an example. I will say this. People go, when did it start for you? I go, honestly, La Femme started for me because I started interviewing so many people. Everybody knows I have a show. Everybody knows, I don't have writers. I'm off the cuff. I'm very, in the moment. So I don't have writers. Therefore, when they went on strike, we didn't stay off because we don't have that. But in a way, I say even during a strike, you should still write because when it's ready to go, you should have something ready, right? And for example, you have something ready like this. I'm pretty sure. When did you write this, by the way?
Well, it's been percolating for a while. It's sort of come into its own, though, pretty recently after some new research into high finance and hedge funds and how they actually work, and more time to think about the 2008 financial collapse. So, but it's been marinating since about 2009, I have to say, when for me personally, I don't know much about finance personally. I'm kind of scared of my own bank account, and I don't really know all the time what I've invested in. And I thought one of my 401k plans was in a socially aware fund, but then I looked at the companies that it actually invested in. I thought, whoa, this is sort of a bait and switch. And then I just thought about what if there was a really decent person who knows this world, knows it inside and out, and is a wizard, but didn't want to cash in on 2008 and the whole subprime mortgage bubble, and would want little investors like me and stand for something. So that's sort of who my heroine is, at least before her life falls apart right away.
What not to do is the answer, like,
Yeah, exactly.
because it's gonna fall apart. You have no money. Yeah. I guarantee you she's gonna drive Lyft. Okay, so Elaine, I have a question. Because obviously I see a lot of books behind you. I see the nice little thing in front of you. You've obviously figured it out, but again, it's a screenplay, right? So let me ask you this. When you have a screenplay, do you do maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, or do you just go, you know what, that makes sense? And what do you use to get there? Do you use like, do you make the environment a certain way? Because some people write a little bit a day, some people write it all out, and some people just got to get it out,
Right. Yeah. Well, I think with this, I did a combination of things. Like I outlined it. I had, a sense of the structure, the major story beats, where they should happen. But it took a while for me to kind of get the character right and what really motivates her, what gets her to tick, what she cares about. And, the premise of the story is that she gets sold out by her firm and hung out to dry, which is something I think a lot of people can relate to, no matter what the world is. But she's approached by an agent with the SEC and given this bizarre undercover mission to infiltrate a dominatrix's dungeon that caters to Wall Street moguls and find out the workings of a secret society that hatches their nefarious schemes in a secret location. But I think with me, then after I had a complete draft, it just underwent a lot of different changes. Like one world, like the sort of sleazy underworld of Wall Street, went sort of full on what a lot of people would expect, me included. Something like Eyes Wide Shut, the kind of bizarre skull and crossbones fraternity kind of shenanigans. But then as I read more and more stuff became available, and you find out more about what makes people tick, I saw a lot more stuff. Like I watched The Big Short and Wolf of Wall Street. And so I did the research, and then it sort of changed that world and how it really works. And, it's a comedy, but it's also kind of a satire on what really these guys kind of, what turns their crank, so to speak.
Right.
And why they act like that. So
the zany world of what people do when they have money. Well, and I'm glad you mentioned Wolf of Wall Street, because I actually saw that, and guarantee my mother would be like, you saw that? I said, yeah, well, I was researching whatever, but the point is this, and there's a way to do it. There's a lot of movies that are in the middle. I'm telling you, they need to because people they need to go back to TV, they need to edit stuff like that so people like my mom can watch. But anyway, it's a really good story, right? And I think the zaniness is there. They write it in order to kind of get you, especially the Lamborghini scene. Everybody knows that, but in a way, I think that's how you should pitch it, because the reality is we want stuff that makes sense. And there's a lot of people, they're having a lot of questions about the money part, right? But if you have her kind of make it big in the end, maybe, right? Because it's loosely based on someone, but I mean, you could even rename it, right? Sometimes titles, you go, oh, that's a better name,
Yeah, right. No, I agree. And I did I really liked The Big Short and The Wolf of Wall Street because they didn't try to play the gecko angle, in Wall Street. I think that we've all seen the men behind the curtain, so to speak. So we don't really see them as heroes, but more like satirical figures. And I just sort of lean into that more and look at it in terms of the people they hurt and how you can get some of your own back. A little revenge and maybe do it better. I don't know. I'm hoping that I'm not far off the mark, that.
Well, I want to see it. No, I'm sorry. I want to see it. I want to see, because a lot of people don't understand. A film festival go, why is there a script there? I go, no, you don't get it. Certain people turn in the script, and sometimes they're selected because they actually have something that should be made, but sometimes they're not, and they need to be. So La Femme's all about that. So that's why I say, please plug it. You never know who's listening. You never know who's watching. You never know who's going to be at the screening that says, ooh, I want to do that. You just got to get paid, obviously. So get paid and then make it, whatever you want. But, be open. And I'm so glad you're saying this, because a lot of writers I talk to, they're very they don't want to change it. They go, I'm done. And I go, but what if you do this perspective? They go, no. And I go, but what if it goes big? You could have other things with it. And they go, no. And I go, you're not ready, but you're ready, Elaine, and keep it going. Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Aaron. It's fun talking to you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. We got more right after this. Elaine, everyone, go check it out. It's a great script.
Thanks for having me. Thank you, La Femme.
We have with us Sandra. And Sandra, look, I understand you have a lot of things going on, but this is going to be pretty amazing. I will say, okay, hold up. We're hearing ourselves. And it's bad. Sandra, we're going to do a restart here. Can you, like, somehow with the audio, because I'm hearing it. Do you have headphones?
Yes, I do. Can you hear me okay?
Can we use those? Yeah, but
Sure.
my audio's coming out and it's very distracting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then we'll just restart, okay, Adam? I know we're streaming. We'll just somebody else had a thing. Yeah, just plug it in so we don't hear ourselves.
Hello, can you hear me okay? Better?
Yeah.
Is that better?
Can you? Yeah, is it plugged into the laptop? We're doing our audio.
Yes, it's plugged into the laptop.
Okay. Let's see. Is all right. I mean, we could do it, but unless we put on a little later, Adam, it's going to be still playing over
it's still playing over your speakers.
Hello? Let me try my other headphones. Hold on.
Okay. Let's take her off. That way she can stand. There you go. Okay, we'll take a quick break, and we got a lot going on. If you're tuning in, this is the live show, so we do a lot of things live. But we want to make sure it's good to go, and they only get one chance at this, so we want to make it right. So, but if you want to get, I'm glad the link is right there at the bottom. Go support. All right, yeah, check it out, lafemme.eventive.org. And you just put that in, you'll be ready to go. Okay, so get the tickets, support. There they are, and there's a bunch of them. If you look at all, I love this year. They got really good on all of look at that. Yeah, I want to see Alma. Look at Ashes. I want to see that. Backlog. That looks like something I want to see. Some of these are shorts, and you're like, no, it's a film. I go, it's actually a short. It needs to be made into a film because they want to do that. Look at that little anime character, so cute. And then you got, Catherine and Michael. That looks like a film, like one of those zany films that you always see, right? Independent. That's what you say. And Crosses in the Dust. We just interviewed them. Dragonfly. That looks like something, that looks good. And you got like a bunch, So those are all the films that we have there. You can select one, or you can select a good ticket to get them all. And then you have access to all of them. And I guarantee you at the very end of the day, at least there's nothing on. I mean, you look at it, like the industry is totally like they're hurting themselves. You know what I mean? So, all right. So let's test her. Let's bring her back on. Let's see if it's working. Okay. I still hear myself on your audio.
Hi.
So I don't think it's plugged in right.
Okay. Maybe I could just put the mic on mute and I don't know.
Or select. Yeah, that. Can you hear me still? Okay, you muted the mic.
Okay, unmute the mic.
It's coming out of your speakers on your laptop. So.
Hello? Is that okay?
How do
Is
we
that
do
better?
that? You have to reroute the audio. Oh, I know.
Is that better?
Are you on PC or Mac?
On Mac.
Okay. So what you do is you change in the audio settings. You direct it to the headset.
Okay.
Versus like the speakers. And if you do that, you're good to go.
The headset.
Yeah. And then it'll go off on, and I won't hear it anymore.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Oh, I can hear you. You're good.
You're good.
We just need to redirect the audio to your headset. So you hear it literally in your headphones.
Okay, we're working on it.
Yeah, let's check that. Yeah, you can still hear me, but
Yeah, I can.
I'm just
still
coming
hear
out
you.
of the speaker. So whoever's helping you, just have him like. We'll take you off right now, so you're not live. And then let's take you off there. And then just check it, and then it's a setting. I guarantee it. It's the volume. If you go to the volume settings and you redirect it to the input, then you'll figure it out. And I know you cannot monitor that we're hearing my voice, but it's like a double, and people are like, oh, and then they tune out, and you're like, oh, come on, man, you need to see this. And we have time, Adam, because I guess there's someone that Birthing Justice didn't make it. I don't think they filled it. I'm going to refresh my thing. So that gives us time. So we're actually on time. And I still hear myself. So
it has to only be going through your headphones, not through your laptop speakers. I don't know if you're...
Yeah, Adam got it. Yeah. I don't know how Mac works. Well, is it on the top right, or where is it at in settings? Because I don't have a Mac, I have a PC.
Here, let me...
And then it redirects the audio to your headset. You would think it works automatically, but it goes, nope, I'm stuck.
Let's see. You have to
and
go...
if you have to disconnect and reconnect, we could do that, and then maybe it'll fix itself, Sandra. Sometimes that happens. I've had that with Skype. I'm going to take you off, Adam.
Everything okay now?
Okay, go ahead and... well, I think it's working-ish. I mean,
is it
just
okay?
turn the volume as far down as you can, and then we'll work with it.
Hello? Was that
yeah,
better?
we hear you good. We hear you good. I don't know why the audio's not being redirected to your headphones.
I can hear you perfectly too, but I can't hear you in the headphones. I just
yeah.
Hear you. Yeah. Should I just take them off then?
You might as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, people be like, why are we hearing it again? I don't know. All right. As long as she hears
turn
us.
it all the way down?
I'm turning the settings off.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you good. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's just that we're hearing like it's hard to explain when you don't, you know. It's in the settings, I guarantee. Adam knows because he has a Mac. I think it's the top right, isn't it? Or you bring up settings. Or just
settings. Settings.
It's in the audio.
And then what we'll do is we'll just now
Hello?
I can really hear myself.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you the whole time, Sandra. I can hear you 100%. What we're doing is we're hearing the speakers. So
okay, we turned it down. Is that better?
Yeah. Check.
Is this better?
Yeah. Can you hear us, though, Sandra?
Oops. Hello? Yeah, I can hear you. It's just quiet.
Yeah, it's not going through the headphones. That makes sense. Okay. All right. Well, let's just work with it. As long as you can hear me, and like, I'm going to just ask you a question, Sandra. A question. Where do you get your hair done?
I do my own hair.
Even better. Okay. All right. As long as you can hear. Okay. That's much better. Okay. Let's work with that. I'm going to go and take it to our little La Femme, or you know, let me do one of the short ones. We're going to do this. Okay, Adam. And here we go.
You know, in the beginning, all films were short.
It's not a charity. We're not here to help you. We're not here to help your cause. We're there to make our money make money.
It probably takes a year to 2 years to really start seeing money.
That title of executive producer on a feature is not the same as the title of executive producer on a television show.
Don't give yourself a bad review before you start.
I'm sorry, I'm super awesome.
Okay.
And this is my pitch.
Hello? How's that?
We
Is that
saw
better?
arm in the shot. Let's do that
I
again. We
still
don't want the
can't
arm in
hear
the
him.
shot. Let's just go with it. Let's leave it alone. Take the headphones off. Let's just forget it. There you
Hi.
go. Much better. Yeah. And we're just gonna do this again. And no more arms in the shot. Okay, here we go. Sorry. I know you have. I'm glad your friend's helping. Sorry. Okay. Let's do. We'll do this. Here we go. We have with us Sandra. Sandra, hello. How are you? I know you got a lot
Hi.
of things going on, and it's amazing. Time for school talk. Let's talk about it.
Well, I created Time for School about 7 years ago. I started making storybooks for my students, and it kind of just came into me in a dream. And then I saw one of my friends, and I said, I had this dream that I started making the cartoons from my books. And he said, you have to do that. And when you do it, please tell me, because I want to be a part of it. And so his name is Lawrence Darnell, and he plays the robot and the principal in my cartoon. I also have 3 of my students that are in this particular cartoon that I work with right now. I'm a musical theater director, so I produce about 6 shows per year, and I work with very, very talented kids. So I just say hi to Jack and Camilla. Hi, Austin and their parents, for supporting the cartoon. I really appreciate it. Even one of the dads played the dad in the last cartoon. So
What? Okay, it's okay. And I'm glad you're doing this, because sometimes people don't understand what it takes to make something, right? And they hold off or they hold on to it so much and they don't ever get it made. But I'm glad you're doing this. And I know it's kind of like, some people go, well, they look at the animation, look at the cartoon, they go, you can go next level. You go, yeah, but look, I did it with friends and family, right?
yes, I did, and it just happened that way. I could actually have an audition and audition children, but when I have so many talented children around me all the time, it's so easy, and their parents are really into the arts, so it worked out great.
Yeah, I'm glad you did that. So many people are like, and I'm glad that it started with a dream. Now let's talk about the robot. I think that's kind of interesting. What does a robot do, and where do you want to go with it eventually?
I think because I really love 2D art, I like 3D as well, and I know we're all going into that era. However, rigging a 3D cartoon can take years and years. It's very tedious, and I don't know, I still think there's a lot of 2D cartoons out there, and I think the kids like the artwork in the 2D as well. So I think people like both, and I think Japan is very open, and Korea, to 2D art. I would like to eventually get my cartoons out there, and I actually am having Korean actors and actresses do the cartoon in Korean right now. So it should be ready soon. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And I'm glad you're doing that, because I had a conversation the other day. I've been having a lot of conversations because we have a script and we have a couple animations. I said, look, you can always do it in another language. You just have to have someone that writes, for the other language.
Right.
And then do it there. And then no one even knows it got done. And I love that you're part of La Femme, because La Femme is about that. They're about everything around the world. I know we take place in LA, Los Angeles, where it's the hub of everything, including animation. You got Nickelodeon, you got some others. Would this maybe be a good Nickelodeon? Would you pitch it to them maybe?
I definitely would. I found this amazing animator that I'm working with right now, Ricardo Matos. He lives in New York, and we work together, and I really feel like a strong connection with him, because everything that I ask him to do or redo, he can just do it right away. And most animators, they all draw and do things their own way. So you have to find the right connection. And as far as Nickelodeon, it would be perfect for Nickelodeon because it's a family show. And the characters, Eli, he is the character that's a little scientist boy, and he makes inventions, and he makes this robot in the cartoon that will be at the festival. And the robot becomes your friend. So it's super cute, and I think the merchandising for this would be amazing. Dolls, all the kids can relate to one of the characters. Tiara is a dancer, so there's a lot of little girls that dance, and I think that I also have a Korean girl that makes cupcakes. Her name is Cupcake Kate. And all the characters have something special about them. And the teacher, Miss Tulip, that's who I play. I do the voice for Miss Tulip. And she's very sweet. And most of the characters that are in my cartoon, it's strange, but I named one of the boys Jack. And 7 years later, I found a little boy named Jack, and he's playing Jack in the cartoon this time. So I thought that was pretty amazing. And he's high energy, and he goes around in his hoverboard everywhere. And I'm really excited about making more cartoons with Ricardo and getting a catalog to present. I've made lots of cartoons up until now, but I think that now is a good starting point for me to start making that catalog that I feel is marketable.
Okay. You got so many things in my head right now. I'm like ready to go with that. Okay. First of all, I hear your voice, and I have been at certain conventions where I hear voices like I don't know if you know the show Jimmy Neutron, right? And they do this little voice. You could be a voiceover actress, I guarantee it. And the kids you probably choose have like that little thing that others just do not have. I haven't animated one. I literally did with them over, I think it was Skype, and I said, look, I just need a demo because you have that voice, we went very European, very, because it's like hello, and I'm like, I can't even do that, you know what I mean? So Sandra, you did something pretty good, and I want to say this, keep it going, man. I know we're out of time, but do this. If you have a character that you want to make, and maybe it's like an animal, what animal would you do with the words, I don't know, like cupcake Sunday cupcake, or Sunday cupcake, I don't know, maybe a
Cupcake Kate. That's her name in the cartoon.
All right, and what does she sound like?
She sounds really adorable. You'll have to watch the cartoon, and you can go to timeforschool.net and watch some of my cartoons. You can also play a video game. We created a math game on there that you can play. So timeforschool.net is
I want to do
website.
a Cupcake Kitty. Can we do a Cupcake Kitty? Like we can make it right now. Cupcake
Well,
Kitty,
actually,
Cupcake
there's a
Kitty,
kitty in
Cupcake
this
Kitty.
cartoon because the cartoon is called Show and Tell, and Tiara brings her kitty to school. It's a white Persian, and her name is Diamond. And one of the girls, Cupcake Cake, comes up to pet the kitty at Show and Tell. So I actually have a cat, and I drew it originally from my cat because I have a white Persian. So
I love it. I keep it going. I want to do something on Cupcake Kitty. I think it can happen. All right. Thank you so very much, Sandra, for spending time with us here on the show. And congratulations on all. Thank you for bringing it to La Femme. And again, if you want to go check it out, the link is scrolling at the very bottom. Thank you for keeping it going. And thank you to all the comments. A lot of people said things. They're watching live, and they're saying keep it going. Okay, Sandra?
Thank you.
All right. Bye,
Take care.
We'll be right back right after this. We have with us Julia and Isabella. Julia, look, I understand you got some things. There's Isabella, and I understand you guys are doing it really good. You got something here that we all want to know about. It's called Maya, and it's about. I'm going to let you talk about it because it's something that I think is a little like yikes.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having us on your show. We're thrilled to be here. And Maya was a film that I was inspired to make after volunteering at a runaway shelter for teenage girls and finding out that a lot of them have been trafficked and have been through the most horrifying situations. And in talking to a lot of people from various organizations who fight trafficking, one of the very common denominators about teens that get trafficked is that they come from homes where there's domestic abuse going on in the home. So hence the story from Maya. I always like making kind of parallel films. So it's really at the core, it's also a mother-daughter story about the mother and daughter kind of refinding their relationship, and both of them through their experiences and the pain that they both go through, helping each other to heal. And I was very lucky that we managed to put together a wonderful cast to make this, with Patricia Velasquez, who plays the mother, Isabella Feliciano, who's here with us today, who plays Maya. And I have to say, Isabella was so brave, because this was a very difficult and challenging role to take on. Because, you know, if you've got to put yourself in those very emotional positions, it's hard. But she was really fearless. She really went through it. And I think, you know, when you see the film at the upcoming festival, you'll all be blown away by her performance.
Well, I'm looking at the poster behind you, and first of all, it looks like a comic. It looks like it could be animated, but the subject is very interesting. And I will say this: I just based on that picture, I want to call you Maya Isabella, but Isabella, well, you know, I mean, isn't it fun to be part of this? How did they find you? I think she's stuck. There. You are, Isabella.
Sorry, it cut out a little bit. Isn't it fun to what?
Yeah, well, the way that they found you, what was that like? Because again, did you see that poster? Seriously, I mean, that poster is like big.
Yeah, the poster is really cool. But I sort of went through like the similar like audition process as everyone else. However, I was graduating at the same time as the shoot. So originally I said no, like I really want to graduate. Also excuse my setting. I'm in Italy right now, and like our room is just a mess because we're leaving tomorrow. But yeah, I have heard from like my brother how important like his graduation was, and like how sad it was that he missed it because of COVID. So I was like, I really want to do that. Plus I was doing finals. So like there was a lot going on. So I kept saying no. And then Julie was like, kept calling. And so I went in for a callback like in person. And then when I met her, Julie she's used to be an actor, right? She still is an actor. You'll see a little cameo, but she knows how to work with actors really well because she also is one. So once I got to like meet with her and we did some improvisation, and I love dramatic improvisation, I was like, I got to keep working with her. So luckily she and the rest of the team made it work with my schedule, and I'm really grateful.
Well, you put something together. Julia, look, obviously, Isabella, I guess you're doing other things, guaranteed. And I'm glad you mentioned that you're traveling. There's a lot of projects coming your way, I guarantee it. Julia, what's it like to discover someone like Isabella and say, you know what, you're going to be the face of something very important?
You know, when I went through the audition process, I'd originally liked Isabella's first tape. And then I was told that she wasn't available for callbacks. So we called back a number of other actresses, and a lot of them were great. But I just, you know, it's a kind of instinct you have. I just didn't feel that any of them like were Maya. They weren't the essence of this character. They weren't able to go to that deep level that I knew was necessary to really honor, you know, somebody who goes through something like this and then survives and comes out on top. So you remarked on the poster looking a little bit like a warrior kind of, a comic book type, because I think I've met a lot of people who've survived trafficking, and the ones that have survived and are working with others and have really turned their lives around. To me, they have shown such courage over adversity. And I wanted to kind of honor that with this film and Maya's journey, and hence that poster. But I've been in the film business for a long time, and I think something that I've really learned as a filmmaker is casting is everything. So when I'd auditioned and I did all the callbacks, and there were actresses who were good, but I just didn't feel in my gut that any of them were great or that they were Maya. So I was ringing Isabella's manager, and I was like, what is the issue? And they said there were 2 days that she couldn't make it because she was graduating. So I said, well, listen, get her in for a callback. If we really like her, and she's right, and I want her for the role, we'll find a way to make it work. Because I'm a great believer in, I'm very solution based. And when I did the improvisation with her, she was so good, and it was really coming from the gut, which to me is what I want, authenticity from the actor. I just knew that I'd found my Maya. And it was funny, Patricia Velasquez had come over, and she'd seen that I was in the middle of the audition. So she'd just kind of quietly gone and sat on the stairs, but was like listening from the stairway. And when the audition finished, Patricia came out of her hiding place, and we both looked at each other, and we just knew. And so we were able to work it out that Izzy got to go to her graduation. And then when she came back to set that day, we had a cake on the there for her, and we all celebrated her graduation. And so it all worked out fantastically.
I will say there's a moment where you go, oh my God, thank you, because you don't know if you're going to get it. You don't know how many people you're up against. You think, oh, I'm the only one. You're not. And in theater, they do that. I remember one time when I auditioned, I was like, am I going to get it? Because I was up against really good people, and you see them audition in front of you, go, there is no way I'm that good. Like, I don't even know why you guys consider me. And then you get the name on the list. Is that what it was like?
Izzy, you've got to unmute.
Izzy around the world,
what?
so your internet's off. But Isabella, what was it like the moment they said, okay, we have selected you? Because obviously, I mean, and the name that you mentioned, Julia, she's in a lot of films, right?
Patricia Velasquez. Oh yeah, I mean the big thing that everyone knows of her is the Mummy, but Patricia has a huge resume, and she's a really, really wonderful actress. We also had Ruma Willis in the film, who plays Kyla, Maya's friend. She was wonderful, and she brings such gravitas to the role. We have Rena Owen in the film, who I'm sure everybody knows Rena Owen. She's a wonderful character actress who you'll definitely recognize her face when you see her. Then we have Billy Budenich, who was just in played the lead in Frankie and Penelope, who plays Ray, who is the charmer, the social predator that for any young girl would be very difficult to see coming. And then we have Anthony Montgomery and Betsy Landon, who played the cops in my previous film, Angie Lost Girls. So I wanted a little bit of community there. And then the wonderful Sherry Jimenez, who is just such a deep, thoughtful actress who plays Rachel.
Well, Isabel, I hope your connection's good, but I want to say congratulations on this. I know this is like, what was it like working with all these actors that you go, whoa, they have like a lot of films, seriously?
Yeah, it was very intimidating. I constantly felt what's it called? Like where you don't, like, what's that word, Kayla? My friend's here, she's also an actress. Not stress fatigue, where you feel like a phony. Imposter syndrome. There we go. I constantly was feeling imposter syndrome, but everyone was very welcoming, and they wanted me to like succeed, and that was such a lovely.
Okay, I know she wants to say more. Unfortunately, we're almost out of time.
So it was very comfortable, sad. Oh,
We're dropping
so
you,
sorry.
Isabella. I'm so sorry. The internet's all over
Okay.
the place. But look, but before we let you go, and I know we're out of time, getting flagged right here. You guys are making it really good, and it's never an imposter. That's the wrong word. I think if anything, it's called I didn't know like I could do it like them, but then you learn from them, and then you just listen to the moment, and then you keep going. Is that what you mean to say, Isabella?
Yeah, it was a learning experience, and it was like the best acting school to do is just to do that movie. I learned so much. I'm very grateful.
All right. Well, Julia, I keep it going. That poster right there, I want to put it full screen. Great job. Great everything. Those that want to see it, they can watch it at the LA Live. I really wish Isabella could make it like in person. I guarantee everybody's going to want to take a photo of you. And that's when you have do you have an agent or like someone that you have to have that person with you and then go, okay. And then you got to monitor them because some agents, they give it to someone else that they're working with,
Oh yeah. Well, I'm definitely gonna try to come. I requested it off for like the day off for work. I was like, please, can I go? So we'll see. But I'm gonna try.
All right, let's do that. And Julia, good job casting her. Obviously, a great selection, and keep it going. All right.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, please spread the word because trafficking has now become the #2 criminal activity in the US. Social media predators is a huge problem. And so, my hope is that this film will really help make teenagers and families, parents aware of what to look out for and a better understanding of how these predators operate. So if you get approached by that type of person or you get approached online by somebody who seems to be this very sympathetic shoulder to cry on, you are able to remember the film that you've seen and remember that things are often not what they've seen. So to me, education leads to prevention, and I'm very proud with what we've accomplished with this film, and I think people will find it fascinating, and they will certainly be blown away by young Isabella's here's performance. And thank you so much for having us on your show.
Absolutely.
It's really an honor. I'm very grateful to you for including us, and we're thrilled to be at the festival and hope to meet anyone who's here listening when they come to it.
Yeah, well, a lot of people are commenting, so keep it going, and I cannot wait to see it in person. Maya, cannot wait. You gotta have. Remember, there's I think they're doing red carpet, right? There'll be photographers there, and there'll be video there. All right, thank you so very much, and keep it going. All right.
I'll be there.
Thank
See
you.
you there.
All right,
Thank
more
you.
after this.
Bye.
We have with us Lisa and Heidi. You look, I love it when we have more than one. It's a little difficult to get to everyone because we have so little time. But you guys have something that's going on right here, and it's all happening at La Femme Film Festival 2023. Can't believe we're another year. You guys brought something together. Can you talk about it?
Yes, the film is called 5½, and it's a short film based on a true story about a little girl who meets her father for the first time when she's 5½, and the day that sort of happens with them meeting for the first time, and how it kind of goes wrong throughout the day.
And Lisa, you're nodding your head like, yeah, it went wrong.
Yeah.
How do you do this any less,
Yeah. So Heidi is the writer and director, and I was the casting director. And one of the reasons why I wanted to do the film is that in just a few short pages, she evoked this vivid and nuanced story of this little girl who, has not ever met her father. She's 5½, and an absent parent, whether they're emotionally absent or physically absent, they take on this disproportional sort of mythic status in a child's life. And so when you finally meet them, you're hoping for that perfect day, that princess day with your dad. And things in this film go really, really wrong. And I just think it was just a really special piece that Heidi created, and I really wanted to cast it.
Well, and Heidi, look, obviously writing something like this, now you're out of the strike, thank God. You kind of go, what do you do next, right? And this is kind of one of those things that I think happened before the strike, right?
Yes. Well, it was we filmed before the strike during COVID, so that was challenging to direct in masks and all that. Everyone knows how hard that is. And it was made as a proof of concept for a larger piece, for a feature. So it's been challenging being on the festival circuit and not being able to discuss it in that way. But now that the strike is over and we're at this great festival of Femme, we're excited to push forward and hopefully turn this into a feature.
Okay, and I love that. I hear that so many times, a feature, 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 feature. And I have had a couple of people come back. They made their short into sometimes the next year, sometimes a couple years later. Either way, it gets done. People don't understand how much time it takes to make something. How long did you work on the script, Heidi?
The script, honestly, I wrote in about a weekend because it's based on a personal experience. So it was all very vivid for me. It's kind of like this dark memory that kept coming up, and I thought, I think I should write this, and so it was a quick write, and we shot for a week, and then we had 3 days of pickup footage that we had to gather in the car driving. So yeah, it's pretty quick.
Now, Lisa, everybody loves to know you, guaranteed, right? Because you help cast, right? And people don't understand how many people you have in your mind. But I think the idea is when you read it, do you cast, or do they say, I want to get this person, this person, this person? You go, oh, I know who can get that person, but they're a little big because this is a short. Or do you say, you know what, we can do it? Or, because I think and people don't want it. I don't think people are ready for this. But I think people are striking right now. But I think there's going to be a lot of people going, I will take anything at some point. What do you think, Lisa?
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, you do have to strategize. You have to think about, okay, can I get somebody shiny in this role that will bring a lot of attention to it? Or do I just want to just go with a good actor and not worry about that extra budgetary, expense and just all the other things that can come when you have somebody, of name. There's just a lot of other things that come with it. There's not going to be a trailer on this set. There's not going to be all the bells and whistles that they might be used to. So you have to kind of find that happy balance. And I think we did. We found some incredible actors, and we also looked at we shot in the Bay Area, so you also want to open it up to Bay Area talent. And, also strategize that, like, do we want to bring up an actor from LA, or do we want to cast from the acting pool that's there? So it's always a balance. It's always a strategy, but I think that we hit it out of the park with the cast that we have.
I'm glad you said that, because sometimes people don't understand, it's not just a headshot. They want to, it is a headshot because you're going for a look, right? But you also want to, you're like, oh, okay, they can act. Then you bring them in the room. You go, are you there with the decision, Lisa? And Heidi, do you want her there?
Oh yeah, we were together the whole time. Lisa did a great job of kind of finding the cream of the crop of everyone that was really resonating with the role. And then we did on Zoom, we did the callbacks and the initial auditions. We didn't do a chemistry test or anything like that. We were trying to I shot the film in order so that there would be no familiarity between the actor James Hal Hardy and Lauren Jude Rosa, who plays the little girl. I didn't want them to have really any kind of relationship, because I wanted to have that really come across on screen, that they didn't know each other, just like in the film. And so we didn't do chemistry tests, but we did I like to improv on set. So we did a lot of that in the callbacks, had them improv some of the scenes.
I love that. Because lately I've been looking at scripts. They're like on a database. I don't know if you guys know this. And in a way I go, oh, that's interesting that works. And Heidi, I know you're a longtime writer. Can you talk about some of the other projects you've been a part of?
Yeah, sure. I write features and television. I've got some things out with my manager now that the strike's over. So I'm excited to get some things made. I usually write comedy. This is my first sort of dark drama thriller that I've written. Usually the things that I write have more comedy in them, but this one was definitely calling to me to write. So I'm excited now with the strike over, and I'm really excited for SAG to get a good deal too, so that we can all push forward together and make some more great films.
Yeah, that's Lisa's right there with you, right, Lisa? How many actors and actresses are like, I need a job, but they don't say it, right?
Right. No, but we are excited for this strike to be over, for the actors to get a great deal, so that we can, all get back to work and, cast Heidi's next thing that she does.
Yeah, and I can see why you align with her. I'm looking at the poster behind you, Heidi, and I love that dog, by the way. That's yeah. Lost in translation is there, like, because sometimes people don't understand why you have it up, right? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I love that movie. The characters are phenomenal, and it's really well written, and it's just sort of, I love films that are kind of a meandering through sort of a day in the life of two strangers, and surprisingly, that is kind of what this short is about. So it's kind of similar thematically.
It's interesting that like you look at a person's place and you go, I see the influence. Somebody looked at my books, they said, I see the influence. I go, it has nothing to do with that. Then they look at the comics and go, I see the influence. I go, it hasn't. Well, you know what? You may have okay.
Yeah, you had a good point there. They are similar.
Isn't it weird? Isn't it weird?
Weird.
Anyway, and I say that when someone says it doesn't work, you go, it does work. Look at that. And there you go. That made a lot of money. All right, Heidi, Lisa, thank you very much for spending time with us. We cannot wait to check it out. Even though it's a short, this is how you kind of see it. And if you're going to do anything, you want to research or you want to analyze how they get it made eventually by doing, a quick one like this. And it's quick, man. But, they get actors that actually really work. So good job. Great job. And keep it going, you two.
Thanks so much for having us.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, we got more right after this. Stay tuned.
In the beginning, all films were short.
It's not a charity. We're not here to help you. We're not here to help your cause. We're there to make our money make money.
It probably takes a year to 2 years to really start seeing money.
That title of executive producer on a feature is not the same as the title of executive producer on a television show.
Don't give yourself a bad review before you start.
I'm sorry, I'm super awesome, and this is my pitch.
We have with us Tamika, and Tamika, you did something there. I'm so glad you have the poster there. I love that you guys prepare this. We had this last year, like once, maybe twice, maybe a few times, and I say, dude, you got to do every single interview that way, and you got to light it right. So you had it lit right. It looks good. Tamika, talk to us about Honor Student. Obviously, you had a hand in this. I think you did more than direct it. What happened there?
Well, I am the director, co-writer, and co-producer of Honor Student.
All right. And Honor Student looks good, by the way. You got some people there in the scene. I love that shot, by the way. Very up, down. And I'm like, wait, what's it about? And I have no idea. So please help.
So Honor Student is a provocative thriller feature film. It's about a teenage scholar who, after losing his twin brother in a mass shooting, decides he's had enough with America's complacency with gun violence. So he takes matters into his own hands. He holds a teacher hostage and proves America a lesson it will never forget.
Got it. Very appropriate. There's a lot of things that happen like that. But I will say this, Tamika. I will say this. You do something, and I think it's right there with the shot. Seriously, sometimes the shot isn't even in the movie. But when you got this and when you made it happen, like, what's that like, having to do everything and then some, and then have the people that kind of come? Because I've been talking to people, and in a weird way, sometimes they just they kind of let you do it all yourself. And I'm like, dude, where's the support? We all need to get paid on this, just not me,
Well, I had a lot of support. I've been working in the industry for some time now. And so I am very fortunate to say that I've made a lot of connections and a lot of relationships. And so this was a script that was written a few years ago. And it was actually written in 2017, to be exact. And it was purposely written to be a two-hander, and which means that it primarily takes place in one location with two actors. I can't say, while yes, I'm sort of the captain of the ship and helming it all, I do have a lot of great support, thank goodness.
Well, it looks good. I usually go to cameras. What'd you use? I go very technical, but then people go, I don't do that. I go, got it. You got some pretty good. I'm looking at some of the people there, and I go, boy, they look familiar. I'm telling you, how do I know them? But talk to us about, I have so many questions on this. Okay, here's a simple question. It's now done. You're on to something else. I guarantee it. You have to come back to this. You have to promote it, get it out there. what do you want to see from it? Because I think La Femme is about that. What do we go with this? It's done, but there's always something else that can happen, you know?
Well, you know, I've actually had a short film a few years ago at La Femme. Actually, it was a commercial, not a short film. It was a commercial that actually won an award at La Femme. And so this is my first feature at the festival, and I'm thrilled to be a part of the festival. You know, I want the film to have a great festival run, which it has been having in 2023. And we actually are having a limited theatrical release of the film as well, which is happening now, actually, and at Limley Theaters in North Hollywood. So if you're in Los Angeles, Honor Student is currently playing. You can also see it on the big screen there. But it's you know, at the end of the day, I want as many people to see the film, for the film to resonate with people, to get the word out, and then ultimately to get distribution. So we're in the process of seeking distribution.
How long is it?
My film is 82 minutes long. It's tight.
Yeah, it is tight. Okay, and it's interesting because I'm looking at like the trailer and I go, wow, that looks big. I didn't get to see the whole thing. Not gonna lie, we have like, I don't know, 100 or so like different.
I got it.
So many, you know. But you know, here's the thing: people can watch it for a limited time on La Femme via the link, no matter what. Like, and you said North Hollywood, and that's good. That's good. I'm almost like, shoot, I want to go out there. But then Liz will be like, you're coming to my festival, right? I'm like, yeah, I'm so sorry, obviously. But the point is this: they can see it for the whole week during the live event on the streaming, which is Eventive. And that's the great thing about this. Then you go, okay, now it's time for promotion for big. And that's what you mean by distribution. You want to get it like distributed by, like, who would you select if you could? Because I know everybody's about, I need to get paid on this, you know?
Yeah, you know, we always want to make our money back, right? You know, look, we live in a world of streaming now, you know, so and streaming is international, it's global, it's not just domestic. You know, I won't say which streamer I want to be on necessarily, because there's not just one streamer. With the distribution deal, our hope is that it would be on multiple streamers, you know, so but the idea is just to get it to a global audience. So that's something that we're really mindful of, and wanting to go with the distributor that ideally has that kind of reach.
That makes sense. And that's why I say, you know, and I know Liz is going to be like, we have that. Yeah, we have it for a week. We don't have it forever. So, but I guarantee someone's going to do it. But I literally had somebody, they just texted me. They said, you know what, this would be really good on Paramount. And I go, the poster looks like that. That's true. Sometimes the poster sells it. You know what? Yeah. And so there you go. So keep it going. Tamika, great job and great casting. My God, I'm looking at the trailer. I go, yeah, it looks like a film that I want to see. So good job. Keep it going and great on the. Oh, by the way, quick question I have to ask. Come on. What kind of camera did you shoot with, please? I need a camera, man. Can I rent it?
Shot with my iPhone. No, we shot with an Alexa, our Ari Alexa camera. We shot with 3 cameras, actually.
Tell me you bought one of them.
No, I didn't.
You got to put that in the budget. Put that in the budget. Buy it, and then you got a camera. You know what I mean? That's what it's what you do anyway. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Tamika, for spending time with us. Great job. I love Alexa. I need an Alexa. Does anybody have a hookup for Alexa? They need a sponsor again. I think they did one year. They need a sponsor. Okay. Thank you, Tamika.
Yeah, bye.
More after this. We have with us Sophie. Sophie, pretty good, by the way. Cherry right behind you. Everybody is ready this year. Seriously, this is great. Cherry, awesome. I'm so glad you have it there. It's pretty obvious what it's about, but sometimes it's not obvious. I know it's a feature. Now I'm getting some information here. It's a first feature film, a dramedy. What's that about?
So yeah, it's my first feature film, and it's about this girl called Cherry, like you can see, who discovered that she is pregnant and has 24 hours to decide whether or not to keep the pregnancy.
Well, that went in a different direction. I didn't even know that. And I like to say it. It's Sherry, right? That I like that. But look, and that's a subject that a lot of people are having right now because people are like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Now, where did you take it? You know, because sometimes people go, oh, I didn't expect it to go there.
I mean, I'm not gonna give away the end, but I think it's more about making a decision that will impact the rest of your life. And actually, it's based on my own experience, and I just wanted to share a story, like you say, that a lot of women may face at some point to make such a crucial decision, sometimes with not a lot of time. And so it's really a movie about this young lady, and it's a portrait of a woman. It's very introspective, but it's fun. It's colorful. Like you said, it's a dramedy. So of course, it's a serious subject, but it's I wanted to treat it in a very uplifting, very I don't know, just to give hope and to also allow women to feel less alone, and also to laugh maybe a little bit about it.
Yeah, and and the subject, you go, laugh. What kind of laugh am I going to do with that? She looks pretty upset in the vehicle, right? So, but Sophie, honestly, I'm so glad you brought this, and this is why I say, and I'm glad you said that because I literally was talking to someone, and they told me the story. I said you cannot do that, but I said maybe if you change something. So I think we could probably do the story. We just have to change it because, like I said, it was based on your experience, but you did it in a different way. But you kind of wrote what you know, and they say do that. And then people go, well, okay, how does it go next level? You go, well, I just did it, so it's done. What? Because there's so many questions for people that are starting, right? And La Femme is about that. Like the last person we had on, I don't think people really got that, but the last person we had on, she said, yeah, I got nominated for a commercial. Now I'm doing a feature. And I'm like, I had so many questions on that because La Femme is about that. They take you from little to big, and people don't understand how big that is, because people as I say, like, all around the world, they want to do something, but they go, I don't know if I can do it done. Now, this is your first feature. What made you want to do this as a feature? Because a feature.
I mean, I always think that when you make a movie, it can be your first one, but it can also be your last one. So I think first question you need to ask, okay, if I only have one story to tell, what would be? And I think we all have one story at least to tell. So I think it would be like to start from yourself and do maybe a little bit of introspection and think what this story is about, what is it the story is important, and what is it really about. And sometimes it's something very from I mean, we all use our the dark side of us, the dark side inside of us. But yeah, I will start just from you and from your heart.
Well, and I love that because then I go, where's the rest of the crew? Seriously, Sophie, because you look, and people don't understand what it takes to put it all together. Did you or someone else help you put it together? Because obviously, you did it on your life. So obviously, did you have somebody else write it with you, or did you just write it and you knew how to do it? You come from the industry, what?
Yeah, so I mean, right now I'm by myself. Alex, who is the star of the movie, is shooting in Spain right now, so she's not here. But yeah, you cannot make a movie by yourself. So you're gonna have to surround yourself with people that are good, but also that you can spend time with. And actually, I co-wrote this movie with Arthur Cohen, who is also a friend. And even though I was one of the co-producer, I also have a few co-producer helping, financing and putting this movie and bringing it to life. It was a long journey, but we did it.
Well, and good job. It says in theaters now. It is LA Live. It's all happening. Regal Cinema. I don't think people understand how much like Leslie puts in of her own money to help out everybody to get it there. Okay, because you have to pay big bucks for that. Okay, and it's a week. So support. Okay, get tickets. If you're in the area, get tickets. Even if you don't go, just get a ticket. All right, and then give it to someone. That way they could go. That way you could get the word out and buy it online. All right, so that's the answer. Sophie, thank you so very much for spending time with us. I know we're running out of time, but I know you got more. Right, so this isn't because I hate it when people say, well, it could be your last. I go, no. That's the industry. It could be the first among many if you keep it going. Just don't die of any virus, especially coronavirus. It's still out there. But anyway, Sophie, question. What do you want to do when it comes to and I always ask this, so they go, no one's got money. I say they have money, or just do it. And I'm not going to ask you how much you did it for, but you got it done. I love that you said the actress is now in Spain, because I say to actors, don't do dumb. Don't wait for a call. You got to go elsewhere because they pay, right?
Yeah, I mean, we paid everybody. We had a ultra low budget, budget. I mean, it was very teeny. I think we only had the money to shoot. So we're like, okay, we're just going to shoot that and nothing will, stop us to have the movie eventually. So my advice would be like, just do it. Like at least after that, you will always be able to raise more money for post-production. And just to keep it like, if it's your first feature, keep it like low. You don't need like $2 million, dollars to tell a story. I mean, again, like go back to what is the story you want to tell, and sometimes you don't need a lot of actors, locations. So just be smart with money. And again, we shot with a very small crew. You ask the camera, we shot in a Canon 1D, so it was very, I don't know. Yeah, just be smart and surround yourself with people who are doing that not for the money, but for the story, for you, and for being part of an adventure.
Yeah, and look, if they want to do a shoot again, $2 million does help. But you go, dude, if I can make it for this, I can make it for that, and then get like something big on, bring her back, and she'll do it full. You go, and then you do behind the scenes on the. They don't do DVD anymore, but they should do that. Like behind the scenes of how it got there, the original director's cut or writer's cut, whatever you want to call it. Are you a writer or director? Which is it?
I'm more a director, but also, I mean, I write, so I guess I'm a writer. But yeah, I'm more a director. I'm working right now on a TV show in France. I'm working actually on 2 TV shows, and I'm also writing my next project, which is going to be a romantic comedy between a French woman and an American man. As you can tell, I'm French, so I want to tell a story about the cultural shock between French and American.
I have the hookup with Mexico. Can you do Mexico? Because American men are weird right now. They're not worth it. They're not. They cheat on everyone. What? All right, and they go back to their exes. So just don't. Just write it. I don't know. Anyway, I'll be in your film. Am I one of those? I'm one of those. I'm desperate, man. I'm desperate. I need money. All right, Sophie. Thank you for spending time with us, and keep it going. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Bye bye.
Absolutely. Okay. More right after this. Stay tuned.